Congressman, you said earlier that you blame the protesters for taking the positions that they've taken. Given the fact that in the 250 plus years, this country has never seen what we're seeing today, how much of the blame goes to the president?
Well, I think you got two levels here that we got to discuss. First of all, anybody that breaks into the Capitol, commits violence, they're ultimately responsible for their own behavior. But as I've already mentioned, the president owes it to our country to be a leader here, and he has not been right now. He's been exacerbating the passions, talking about how he's won in a landslide and overwhelming fraud, which hasn't been backed up in the courts. So I think the president, I thought he should have done this after the courts has ruled against him, but he has to acknowledge the peaceful transition of power. He has not done that yet. So I find culpability with what he's done as well.
If you knew this was going to be the result of a vote for him in November, would you have still voted for him?
You know, no, Joe, I'm not going to go there. I have been, I'll just leave it at this. I've been angered by the actions in the last couple months. He needed to respect the transition of power, especially once the courts followed their course and once the electoral votes were certified. I thought that at that point he needed to acknowledge it. And he's given a lot of his supporters hope that on this day we will overturn the election, whereas there was no hope. Even if every Republican voted for him, Joe Biden was going to be the next president. And so he was feeding into this false hope. I've heard it from so many people that this is the day this is going to happen. I said, it's not going to happen. So I've been discouraged about that. I was also not happy with the COVID situation with the supplemental when he and his team helped negotiate that bill. And then the next day he slammed us for it. When he helped negotiate and encouraged us to vote for it. And so that was another area that I thought was disheartening. And unfortunately, it hurt us in Georgia. He hurt his own team with that. So as a conservative, that made me, I was very disappointed. I thought the NDAA veto was wrong. Our country needed that bill. And he was insisting on the Section 230 that goes after social media to be put into this bill. And it has nothing to do with the defense bill. It would be like me wanting to put a farm bill portion into the defense bill. It was not germane. But he vetoed it largely over that when it had no chance of passing. And I didn't think that was right either. And then when I look at Georgia, I feel like his actions resulted in the defeat of those two Republican candidates. So I'm not going to say how I would have voted differently. It's hypothetical, but I have not been, I disapprove of his behavior, I'll just say it that way, since November.
One last question for you. Given the safety concerns on Capitol Hill right now, I know that you know how to use a gun. Do you have one available there if you need one?
Well, I'd rather not go there, but I'll just leave it this, Joe. I have a concealed carry permit, but I don't want to tell people if I'm carrying or not.
Understand. Thank you, Congressman.
Thank you.